So, how do we actually put all of this into action? We want to highlight a few resources and opportunities that are coming down the pike to help you move into the next steps of integration. For those of you who joined Workshop 1, you heard us talk about this exciting new program, Growing Water Smart. It's an interactive virtual workshop that hosts teams of water managers, land use planners, and community leaders as they collaboratively strategize on how to address local water challenges that influence their growth and development. These workshops have already been facilitated across Colorado and Arizona by the Snoren Institute and the Babbitt Center for Land and Water Policy, and we're really excited to be able to bring this resource to California communities. Through the program, each team will learn about public engagement, planning, communication, and policy tools to ensure they can realize their water conservation, watershed health, and community resilience goals. Teams of 5 to 7 individuals representing one community participate over the multi-phase workshops. Participants will hear from technical experts and gain a better understanding of how land use and climate trends impact water supply and demand at the local and regional level. Teams also learn specific strategies and tools to integrate water and land use planning to better adapt to change and uncertainty. As a team, you'll be collaborating in real time with decision makers from multiple disciplines, departments, agencies, and organizations to agree on a common set of goals around water. Part of the workshop includes developing clear and concise language to communicate these goals to the community at large to gain buy-in and support. The culmination of the workshop is jointly developing an action plan tailored to your community's needs. The program also includes technical assistance for communities to implement the actions identified in their plans. And we are currently accepting expressions of interest for our Growing Water Smart California program. And I will send a quick link in the chat and include it in the follow-up materials as well. But you can also email my colleague, Atlee Keller, to find out more. Our priority deadline for those letters of interest is March 1st, 2021. Many of you are familiar with LGC's Civic Spark program. This is a Governor's Initiative AmeriCorps program dedicated to building local capacity for public agencies to address community resilience issues, including water, climate adaptation, and much more. Our fellows work on a variety of research, planning, and implementation projects, including supporting stormwater resource planning, community engagement, groundwater planning efforts, landscape water use efficiency, climate adaptation, you name it. Our fellows are incredibly talented and work on such a variety of projects. Each year, fellows are placed throughout the state as a cohort of 90 fellows. And in addition to their local government work, they're also responsible for conducting volunteer engagement, and they receive content and skills-based training from local government commission staff. We recruit the highest caliber of young professionals from a nationwide search of candidates. All fellows are college graduates from a variety of disciplines, including engineering, communications, environmental sciences, and public policy. LGC handles all of the admin, paperwork, and hiring. We vet applicants first and provide you with a list of top-tier candidates to interview. LGC and the local agency then collectively determine who is the best fit for your project. Beyond LGC training and support, the fellows are also connected to this statewide cohort of 90 fellows across the state to rely on each other and learn from one another in their regional implementation projects. The cost of one fellow for an 11-month term, full-time support, is $29,000 for the upcoming service year. We're hosting a few webinars to provide more information about becoming a partner. Partner recruitment is open right now, and we'll share that information with you all. You can also contact Danielle Dolan on her emails on this slide to find out more information. And actually, our next partner webinar is tomorrow from 10 to 11 a.m. So hope to see some of you there if you're interested in hosting a fellow. We've briefly touched on this, but to bring this point home, coordinating engagement that is equitable is key to collaboration. Marginalized communities are struggling to address the triple threat of climate change, COVID-19, and the economic downturn. And local governments must coordinate between agencies and departments to reduce the barriers to engagement and ensure planning processes are driven by the community. Luckily, we have some great resources for you. The first resource are the Principles of Equitable Engagement, which were developed by LGC in coordination with 5 nonprofits who are leading on the ground engagement, supporting water and land use planning. The principles outline how to incorporate community expertise into every phase of your project, including how we define local needs and conditions, how we develop and implement solutions, how we prioritize resource allocations, and how we assess project impacts. The second resource is our best practices for virtual engagement guide, and this was developed right at the start of the pandemic and provides tangible guidance on how to make the most of your virtual outreach and engagement efforts. Lastly, LGC is working with the IRWM Roundtable of Regions and Maven's Notebook to host a free webinar series over the next year about how we can better coordinate groundwater with integrated regional water management. Next Monday, February 8th, we are having our second webinar in this series. And this webinar is really focused on coordinating project development, selection, and implementation across IRWM and the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, or SIGMA. We'll share the registration link in the chat and with the follow-up resources, but it'll be a really exciting conversation hearing from local groundwater managers from across the state on how they've leveraged IRWM to implement multi-benefit projects. And that brings us to our certification. In order to receive your certification as a Santa Ana Watershed Ambassador, you must complete and submit the Community Assessment Worksheet that you received via email yesterday with the agenda. You can also find the worksheet posted in the chat now, and it will be posted on our Watershed Ambassador website shortly. I'm going to open it up briefly just to walk you through the actual assessment worksheet that you have received. So at the top, you'll see that you must submit your worksheet to this ambassador at SAPA.org website. SAPA is managing the certification process for this program. In addition to your name, organization, and email, you'll also want to confirm that you've participated in the live sessions, or if you are watching the recordings, you'll want to check these boxes to indicate that you've attended or listened to all 5 sessions. From there, we then ask you to look at the plans and agencies responsible for those plans within your own jurisdiction. So if you scroll down through the page, you'll see we have it for stormwater, water quality monitoring, new development, climate adaptation, etc. And for each of these topics, we ask you who's responsible, either the agency or department, what plans and policies are involved in that particular topic, and then asking how you and your organization or department are engaged in planning on that particular topic, and prompt you to think through how you can better engage with some of these topics that may be not directly within your wheelhouse. Jumping back to my slides. Once you've completed the worksheet, please email it to that SAPA address and you will receive your certificate. If you attend future workshops, whether live or by watching the recordings and completing the activities, you can continue building your certification. And as I said, all of the recordings from our workshops will be on the Watershed Ambassador website.